Welcome to this exploration of the history of cell discovery. We're going to journey through time, from the earliest observations of cells to the sophisticated microscopy techniques we use today. This story spans over 300 years and involves brilliant scientists who gradually unveiled the microscopic world that forms the foundation of all living things. Understanding how cells were discovered helps us appreciate not only the scientific method, but also how our knowledge of life itself has evolved. Our story begins in 1665 with Robert Hooke, an English scientist who made a groundbreaking observation. Hooke was examining a thin slice of cork under a compound microscope when he noticed something remarkable. The cork appeared to be made up of tiny, box-like compartments. These structures reminded him of the small rooms, or cells, where monks lived in monasteries. This similarity led him to coin the term cells to describe what he saw. However, Hooke was actually observing the dead cell walls of plant tissue, not living cells themselves. Nevertheless, this discovery marked the beginning of cell biology. About a decade later, in the 1670s, a Dutch scientist named Anton van Leeuwenhoek took cell discovery to the next level. Leeuwenhoek was a skilled lens maker who created powerful single-lens microscopes that could magnify objects up to 270 times. Using these instruments, he became the first person to observe living cells. He examined samples of pond water and discovered a whole new world of tiny organisms swimming around. He saw bacteria, protozoans, and even red blood cells. Leeuwenhoek's observations revealed that life existed at scales far smaller than anyone had imagined. Fast forward to the 1830s, when two scientists working independently made crucial observations that would lead to cell theory. Matthias Schleiden, a German botanist, studied plants extensively and concluded that all plants are composed of cells. Around the same time, Theodor Schwann, a physiologist, examined animal tissues and reached a similar conclusion for animals. Together, their work established that cells are the fundamental building blocks of all living organisms, whether plant or animal. This was a revolutionary idea that unified our understanding of life. In 1855, German physician Rudolf Virchow made another critical contribution to cell theory. He proposed a concept summarized by the Latin phrase omnis cellula e cellula, which means all cells come from pre-existing cells. This was a profound insight because it challenged the idea of spontaneous generation, the belief that living things could arise from non-living matter. Virchow's principle established that cells reproduce by dividing and that every cell has a parent cell. This concept became the third pillar of cell theory and remains fundamental to our understanding of biology today. The work of Schleiden, Schwann, and Virchow came together to form what we now call the classical cell theory. This theory rests on three fundamental principles. First, all living organisms are composed of one or more cells. This means whether you're looking at a bacterium or a human being, cells are the basic structural unit. Second, the cell is the basic unit of life. All the processes necessary for life, such as metabolism and reproduction, occur at the cellular level. Third, all cells arise from pre-existing cells through cell division. These principles transformed biology and provided a framework for understanding how life works at its most fundamental level. As our understanding of cells grew, so did the technology to study them. Throughout the 1800s, microscope technology improved dramatically. Better lens grinding techniques and the development of achromatic lenses, which reduced color distortion, allowed scientists to see cells more clearly. In the early 1900s, oil immersion objectives were introduced, enabling even higher magnification. Then, in the 1930s, phase contrast microscopy was developed. This technique made it possible to observe transparent living cells without staining them, revealing cellular structures and processes in their natural state. The biggest breakthrough in microscopy came between the 1930s and 1950s with the development of electron microscopy. Unlike light microscopes, which use visible light to create images, electron microscopes use beams of electrons. Because electrons have much shorter wavelengths than light, electron microscopes can achieve magnifications up to 2 million times, compared to about 2,000 times for light microscopes. This revolutionary technology allowed scientists to see the internal structures of cells in unprecedented detail. Organelles like mitochondria, ribosomes, and the endoplasmic reticulum became visible for the first time, opening up entirely new fields of cellular research. Today, we have an amazing array of microscopy techniques that continue to push the boundaries of what we can observe. Fluorescence microscopy uses special fluorescent dyes that attach to specific cellular structures, making them glow under certain wavelengths of light. Confocal microscopy takes this further by using lasers to create optical sections of cells, which can be assembled into detailed three-dimensional images. Atomic force microscopy doesn't use light or electrons at all, but instead uses a tiny probe to map the surface of cells at the atomic level. And super-resolution microscopy has broken through what scientists thought was a fundamental limit of light microscopy, allowing us to see structures at the nanoscale. These tools are helping us understand cells in ways the early pioneers could never have imagined. Let's recap what we've learned. The discovery of cells evolved from simple observations of cork to the sophisticated imaging techniques we use today. This journey took over 3 centuries and involved countless scientists building on each other's work. Cell theory unified our understanding of life by establishing that cells are the fundamental units of all living things. The advancement of microscopy technology, from Hooke's compound microscope to modern electron and super-resolution microscopes, has been essential in enabling deeper exploration of cellular structures and functions. And this journey isn't over. Modern techniques continue to reveal new cellular mysteries, helping us understand diseases, develop treatments, and unlock the secrets of life itself. The story of cell discovery reminds us that science is a cumulative process, with each generation building on the discoveries of those who came before.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.